no permits for residential.
Commercial, I don't think there's any residential inside.
None for residential.
It falls under the fire marshal.
They had a different train of thought when they had all their flooding up there, though. Because nothing was built to code. Yeah, no, there's a lot of communities that don't, and then there's a lot that do charge the permits and the fees, but there's no inspections. All they're doing,
liability, in my opinion.
exactly, all they're doing is really updating, they're generating revenue and keeping their assessing current.
Ken, did I just hear you say that because they didn't have stuff being checked that they have issues now that they're beginning to regret not having that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not talking about some siding falling off.
No, but the roofing and stuff, I mean,
No,
that's...
all the houses were built in the flood zone.
Yeah, no, I
And
know that
that
area you're
was
talking
a
about,
significant
yeah.
incident where the first responders are all put in safety to go in and,
Well, I know
Get people out.
I put out a petition for this 2 years ago, and I'll make a motion to eliminate it.
the fees.
Yep. And I'd
Roofing,
like
siding,
to,
windows.
yep, and I'd like to eliminate the whole thing permitting system. I don't know if that's possible, but I don't like it. And this is what I put out to the public, and I had a lot of response. People tried to put this in, to vote on it in a warrant article, and it was denied by our town attorney.
Well, I think the only real process would be somebody applies for one and goes through the zoning board of adjustments for a variance or for a administrative appeal on the interpretation. That's really, I think, the only real way to do it.
The selectmen could vote the permit out, and I would just,
Or we could vote the fee out.
you can,
I think,
I don't think we're gonna tell you not to do it. That's up to you. That's your interpretation of that code and that's your thought of it. I called ICC about this a couple of months ago and I got both answers. It's just like calling a lawyer. Tom?
Just a quick question, if we go in and get a roofing permit, do we gotta pay the permit application fee for $30 a year?
no, it's a flat
So
25.
it's a flat $25. I 100% agree with Charlie on this, I mean,
That's,
it's
sometimes
either
hard to say.
I'm a builder or not, I'm sorry. You know, people change their siding, you know,
It's
they wanna
maintenance.
do one side at a time, where they come in and get a permit to do a little bit of siding. It's not much different than painting the house. And
I know that the
and the
consensus
roofing-
of the public really hate that one. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it to you, I'm just saying the
No, I-
consensus of the public hate it, Arthur.
I believe that the board could ask the ZBA for an administrative appeal on the permit,
We don't have the money.
the board of selectmen. I would hope that they wouldn't charge, I would hope that
We'd
they
have to
would
waive
waive
our
the
own
fees for
fees.
the board of selectmen, but, well, that'd be up to the ZBA.
I use that. When people ask me in my community if they need one, it's a voluntary. If you want to pay me to come keep an eye on your contractor, I will. But unless you're making 4 or 5 trips out there, it's really tough to keep an eye on that particular part of construction. You're nailing for your plywood and stuff, you can see that all on the inside. Most guys aren't going to roof over rotted boards. To me, it's the ice and water shield making this adequate enough in there, because most guys don't put on enough. And the flashing and the...
And what about the people that that don't want, just want you to go over them? I mean, I know it's not the right thing, and I don't do it personally, but there are people that just don't want the mess. They don't want to take it apart. They don't want this, and they want
As long as
to.
you only have one layer, you
Yeah.
can go over it.
Yeah,
I've stripped 5 layers off of ours before.
yeah.
You can do that now. The code allows you to put a 2nd layer over.
Yep.
I just wanted to know.
So that was a motion?
But is
For
the
zero?
motion just to eliminate the fee for the roofing, siding, windows?
The permit.
Correct.
Okay.
What about the permit?
The fees and permit?
Yeah.
Okay, both, okay, just for the roofing, siding, windows though?
Yeah. I don't want it
No,
to have
this
anything.
one.
I want it to be missing.
He wants to eliminate
The
this line.
$25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And the
the
application.
roofing, siding, window.
Oh, the
Won't
whole
even
line.
appear on there, yeah.
Okay.
I think Arthur has a lot more intelligent things that he could be doing amongst that than trying to put himself out there among that.
Dies for lack of a second.
What do you mean?
We all got our turn tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Charlie, not that I don't agree with that, I wholeheartedly think that people ought to be able to change their windows, do their roofs and stuff, and not have to paint to the nose, but as I said, this isn't something that was budgeted for this year, and I think we should be concerned about that. Maybe this is something that I think should take a little bit more thought than what we're doing right now.
Well, with that being said, I'll make a motion for 0 on the permit fees for roof and siding and windows, and it's up to the department head to determine if that inspection's required and that permit's required.
So wouldn't that be something if nobody seconded that one, wouldn't it? No, I'll second that one. At least we get half of it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Can we look at that?
Okay.
Opposed? One?
I'm opposed.
Any other fees?
0 fee up to the building inspector to determine whether to inspect.
Whether a permit is required or
Permit is
the
required.
and
That's a good thought.
I'll go on record as saying yes, a permit is required in inspections. So,
I won't go on record as saying you're wrong, but I think maybe you want to call ICC or look at the definition of roof repair where it calls it maintenance. You guys all set on all the others?
I was all set
Yeah,
on the shed.
I'm all set with the others.
All right. Thanks for coming.
well,
So, just to be clear, no fee for the setback.
$5 fine for the setback.
$5 foot long. Public comment number 1. Ralph.
The, what Tom just said, I guess I got here late, setback permit's gonna be a $5 fee,
as of tonight,
and everything else went through,
no, there is no longer a fee for roof window siding.
and no one, is there still a fee for the deck porch?
Yes, no other fees get changed.
Any other public comments?
I got a quick one. Just wondering if the Wakefield Chamber of Commerce looking to place that sign down across from Assets Realty and Marge's thing there.
Yep.
And we're just wondering if we're gonna spend $540 at Wakefield Chamber to redo the sign. Just wondering, it's got a lot to do with Wakefield, not just the chamber on it. Just wondering if the town would donate a couple $100 towards the $540 fee.
Did you see if you can get a permit for it yet first?
I'm just replacing, picking the same size off and down. I'll ask out there if I need a permit.
It could have been a violation,
Maybe
you
you can
know?
waive it.
Well, I noticed him putting up an off-site sign the other day down there.
That's a Pride Day one. Yeah, it's gonna change. It's gonna
Where
change
is it,
the
where's it going?
That puff stone.
Right, yeah. And we wouldn't put leaving Wakefield, we're just gonna leave welcome on both sides. So-
Yeah.
Thanks for visiting.
Yeah.
Not thanks for visiting, because people are still visiting Wakefield when they drive out of there. So that was all.
Thank you, Tom.
Does that go right where the corn thing is?
Yeah,
Is that
just
what you're saying?
before on the right by the laundromat.
Between.
Sign's been
Yeah.
in really bad repair for the last 5 years. Just a wreck.
I think
So
it's a nice
instead of
sign.
removing it completely, we want to redo it.
When I was looking at the manifest go through, I noticed a lot of lines were way over 50% on expenditures. I think town hall maintenance was one, and there's several that we gotta keep an eye on. If it was later in the year, I'd feel more comfortable knowing what we had for money. You open for $200, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Probably could come out of unexpected costs.
Just for the one sign, not the
Again,
one
that's
down.
unexpected costs. You don't know what's.
That's correct.
Exactly,
We've
yeah.
gotta be doing
Yeah.
some maintenance on those other 2 signs.
That's what I was thinking of. When are you looking at doing the project?
I got the old side down, so I was hoping to do it within a couple of weeks, but if you guys wanna take it under advisement, it's fine.
Just to find the money, where does it come from if we was to give it?
Well, we do have a line that is called unexpected costs. That could be for, repairs here at the town hall. Like, for instance, I have the fire alarm system. I was just told the batteries are outdated. That wasn't planned, so that's an unexpected cost of $1,100. We've had another $900 issue with our panic alarms. Batteries also needed to be replaced that we didn't know were gonna happen, so things like that come out. Currently, it was about 3,000 that we've used out of there already.
And how much is left?
3.
I was leaning towards the advertising line. There's no money in it either.
Oh, I was gonna say we can advertising line.
Then the board does.
Oh,
I think we're gonna find out the
Can
heating
we
utility is
take it
gonna
out
take
something
up.
like that?
Um,
I mean, what's the planning board gonna advertise?
oh, the public hearings and stuff, and it's way too early in the year to take additional money out that wasn't budgeted, in my opinion. But,
I mean, I definitely think it's an asset to the town.
oh, I do too. Almost enough that, I'd throw some money in personally for it
Yeah,
if
me
we
too.
couldn't come up with it.
Why don't you wait, Tom? Okay?
We'll see what we can find for you for the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that'd be great then.
Any other public comment? Sure.
Since New Hampshire adopted the International Building Codes, how did that raise your costs in the code enforcement section?
Arthur, do you want to answer that?
Actually, it didn't. The town of Wakefield already had a code enforcement officer in the department. Actually, the cost has gone down over the last several years. We used to have a code enforcement officer, deputy code enforcement officer / shoreline compliance officer, and an administrative assistant. We now currently have the administrative assistant and the code enforcement officer.
So changing it to the international code didn't affect you at all?
Not
The-
cost.
The town had already adopted that same code prior to the state adopting it. And I think Wakefield was the first town in New Hampshire to adopt the ICC family.
Is it cumbersome to use?
The residential is very easily.
Is it?
The problem is none of the contractors have a copy of the book.
So the contractors are doing it for the old code and you're trying to inspect it by the new code?
They're doing it the way they were shown by their father and their grandfather, usually. It's mostly how it's done.
Yeah, but grandfather didn't have the matter.
Yep.
And what's so wrong about that? Every one of them grandfather's houses are still standing out there today. Okay, I don't see the difference.
The ones you don't see are the ones that are blown down,
Well, they should
fallen
be.
down.
They've
So
been there for 385 years.
the good ones are still standing that we know of.
grandfather was really good.
Any other public comment? Unfinished business. We have a letter from Attorney Whittam regarding the town beach and skateboard park. We talked about that last time, and now we have Parks and Rec here with an update. Wayne, if you just would like to address your thoughts on how to address the letter?
Yep, start on the skate park. At our last meeting, we all discussed it with the commission, and the skate park, some of the areas that were brought up were probably valid points. But we discussed, you know, the big thing that kept reiterating was that the cars are parking on private property. 95% of the people that use the skate park are coming either walking in or riding bicycles or skateboards in. They're the younger.
That's the first thing when I thought I saw that. Oh, they're getting dropped off by the parents and.
Yeah. The other, you know, a lot of the other issues they had, I've discussed them with Chief Wakefield. We also have a letter here, I believe you guys have a copy of.
From the police chief?
From the police chief, yeah. If you don't, I have an extra copy. We went over a few things there that would explain some of the response on that. But the question that we brought up to the committee, what do we do? Several options were discussed. 4 of them we came up with. One was to move the skate park to the town ball field. Some were concerned about safety. It's too far removed from the center of town. Kids would either have to walk or ride their bikes along 153 to get there, raising a big safety concern. It also would be harder to supervise down there than it would be in town where it's at.
They'd be out of sight, out of mind.
Correct, yeah. The second option, move the facility to Forest Hills tennis courts, which aren't used that much for tennis. Courts are barely used, but we do have a few kids that are on the Spalding High School tennis team right now that are using it. They do need to be updated. It isn't in the best condition. So whether we use it for tennis or we move the skate park there, again, you still have some work there that would need to be done. Also, probably would probably go over not as well with more people there than it would be where it's at now. Step 3 would be to move it to the turntable park, centrally located. As far as the other 2 options, there'd be more cost for prep and repaving and labor relocating. One big issue there is the underground water tank that we still have out there. That would be an issue. We feel that would have to be filled.
I did get an estimate for you on paving that, and it was $5,400 to put a paved driveway down for that. So it would turn into a little bit of money.
Behind at Turntable Park. There's a bunch of drawbacks there. One, the summer camp uses the backyard. We'd have to move the stage, which to me is more of a problem than the skate park is. They hide behind the stage.
I'd be thoroughly against that myself, and I've
We
explained to you.
discussed that, yeah.
Central Park, I mean, that's the vegetation, all the stuff we've got going on in there for the general public. I just wouldn't want to see a skateboard park in there. Myself, that's me. I'm just.
Not to just change the subject for a second, do you see Parks and Rec using that tennis court in Forest Hills at all?
We have.
Is that a use to you guys?
It is a use, but I feel it needs to be upgraded. It's something we need to add to the budget. It's not cheap to improve the surface there. We cleaned it up a lot. I know Mr. Brown's son is one of them that's down there using. They tried repairing the net best they could, but it's it hasn't had any attention there for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, there's some big cracks, and it's lifted in a bunch of areas. And the net itself really should be replaced. You're probably looking to do a tennis court resurfacing, and the net is probably about $9 grand.
Well, I was looking to sell it, but
Right.
that's why I was asking
Yeah.
if it's a use to you.
Do we own that pool down there in Forest Hills?
I don't know.
Because it doesn't seem to come up here on the tax map. I thought we did, but it seems like it's not.
I'm not sure.
The last option we came up with for the skate park, leave it where it is. We could invest more in chain link fence, which would be encompass the whole.
Fence up.
We've got 2 sides encompassed now. We would encompass the rest of it, and there would be 1 gate in, 1 gate out. But again, that's $3,500 to put that fence in. I think we just put up more signage, put a porta potty out there, give permission that we can put one, and have the servicing company be able to drive around Mr. Myers' building to service. If there is any vandalism down there, which there really hasn't been, there is some maintenance that could be done. And that's a facilities issue that, we just have to get someone out there to repair it. We don't have a facilities person in town. So it's me to get down there and do it, or try to find someone to donate their time. But we asked the police for a little more patrol, and if we put the porta potty down there and signage, if they don't aren't responsible with the area down there, then we, like we did 3 or 4 years ago, close it down for a few weeks. Let them know that we mean business and take care of it.
Well, I think Ken said it the best, is that, he's willing to put a little more patrol there, and I think by that will justify, their appearance, which would scare off anything that's bad that's happening there.
Well, we also talked about, because Ken and I and Wayne went out there for a walk there, we talked about putting up a camera down there so that we keep an eye on who's entering and who's not. One of the questions I had was where the back property line was, where there's a path coming across through the car dealership property over there. I didn't know whether that should be our responsibility to put up a fence, or the car dealership, if they want to keep the kids from going onto that property. Whose responsibility that should be.
It's always been a natural cutoff for ever to walk through there behind the buildings. I'd say that's
And
personal
the other
property.
thing is, there's never been, from what I understand, it's the rarest anybody's ever complained or filed a complaint down there at all. I mean, how can we say that any of this is happening if there's never been a complaint?
You know, if all we have to do is complain about kids raising their voice and leaving a little bit of litter on the ground, I think we're pretty damn
a good
blessed.
day.
Excuse
Yeah.
my language, but it's like,
No, and there has been complaints, if you call a complaint, Mr. Meyer, people walking on his property, which I understand, of trash, he'd call me personally, and I go right down and take care of the issue, and, do the best I can and educate the kids when I'm there as well. And maybe it's a little more education right now too, but like I said, we've cleaned that, went down, did a spring cleaning, Alyssa and myself, and, we picked up 4 bags of trash and 2 partials that we left in the cans and did not come up with 1 beer can or beer bottle down there. So what is really going on down there? Is the word getting out and other kids educated?
and I know I got a couple of calls about the park 2 different times, and within hours, Wayne was down there or had somebody down there, had it cleaned up. As a matter of fact, Mr. Myers called back up and said it's the cleanest it's been since it opened. He was very impressed with how quickly Wayne responded to it and how it got done, so.
So I say leave it alone, let Wayne handle it.
With signage and just,
Signage.
Signage, and
attention.
I will see, I'll see in response to the beach,
yep,
maybe move one of those porta potties that we had earmarked for there, remove both of them from the beach, maybe put one over there and see how it goes.
do you close the gate at the beach at night?
We do, but people walk around the
Oh,
other
yeah.
side anyways.
Well,
so,
if there's a trespassing sign and the police take notice and they're trespassing.
there is a sign that says beach closes at, but I'm gonna change the times just because so many, I think right now it says at 6. And people don't get home from work until 6,
Yeah,
6:30.
yeah, it's light till 8, 8:30.
Summertime, they ought to be able to enjoy it as well,
What's the noise ordinance?
so.
11 o'clock?
So that's what I'm looking at the skate park.
Yep,
As far as the town beach goes, if you were to pull up map 179,
You already done it.
okay? I went down, Pete was with me the other day, and Chief Piper, and we walked down there. There's 4 different things that we could do right there. One, hire a lifeguard to maintain and supervise the area. We know how that has gone over, I put it in the budget. I understand why it's taken out, and actually LGC told me before you guys took it out, because I told you, there's less liability
put a
if we
sign,
don't have one there, just in case something, I don't know as I agree with that,
it's a
but
state.
there's less liability. I will,
Parking.
I think we'll provide some trash cans down there, chain them to the fence. I just gotta keep track of it, because so many people come down and put their home trash there instead of the beach trash. We'll unlock the bathhouse as long as things
Oh,
are,
yeah.
they use it responsibly. We'll keep that unlocked so they can use it. I would still like to lock it up at night. When the beach is closed, the bathhouse should be closed as well.
And Wayne and I had talked about devising a different type of lock system for the bathhouses because they get broken into. And we were chatting about whether we could just have a piece of metal folded down over so you can only get to the lock from the bottom.
Yep,
Instead of being able to cut it or rip it off, just
like a gate.
one access to the lock and securing that building, as well as stenciling signage onto the dam on three sides of the dam anyway, in
That's-
regards to no trespassing. So no trespassing signs have disappeared off the dam, and there's only one on the building, but if we stencil them on the concrete, they'd be there, and we could stencil them each year.
On the lakeside, we'll get right out in the water, put in big red printing or white printing, no trespassing, please take notice of private property, something like that. Put it right on the corners of the dam where, when we were kids, we climbed up there and jumped off.
Oh, yeah, I can
Everybody
remember
did it.
several broken arms
Yeah.
and legs and
Teeth.
teeth.
Yeah, so if we painted on the end of the dams, where the buoys are anchored right now, no one owns the lake itself. I'm gonna remove the buoys, spread it straight across the front of the dam, probably 8 to 10 feet out,
Mhm.
and anchor it on the other shoreline, which is state property, and have that away from the beach, so that will keep people, we'll have the buoys so they don't get that close to the dam.
Yep, yep.
Um,
You think you need authorization from the state to be painting on the dam?
I don't know. We can.
It almost looks like our bathhouse and our gate entrance is all on state property too.
The whole, yeah.
Ken, if the state is in the easement, I think Teresa read it to me, somebody read me the easement, we're supposed to be the guardians of that. You know, they're allowing us to use the property,
It's a lease.
provided we keep the
Take
people
it
off of
into
the dam.
Yeah,
So if we're gonna keep them off, we gotta give them signage,
yeah,
you know.
no, sounds good to me.
You know, I did price a fence, if you wanted a fence from the existing fence now, down along with a 4-foot gate to get on where they walk out on each side of the dam, and then on the north side of the dam, have one hanging out over the water so someone can't just walk around it, because there already is one like that on the other end. It's $1,900 in fence.
Yep.
It's chain link, it looks nice the way things are there right now.
Yep.
You know, I think with a little more, you know, it's across the street from the police station. What are they actually gonna be doing? We've chained the picnic table down, so that's not an issue. I don't see that there are, again, the beach is clean. You know, down there this spring, from the winter, fall, everything, to do a cleanup. There were a couple diapers. You know, we picked up a soda can and an empty bag of chips the other day.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of cars there after when it's dark and
No.
stuff.
Well, one thing we also had talked about was chaining down the trash cans at both the skateboard park and at the beach, so that they can't be dumped over, because you know, most people put their stuff in the trash can. There may be a few people out there that might tip it over, kick it around, and cause the general problem.
Yep,
in
the
appearance.
1%.
If we can stop that, then we can probably stop some of the complaints.
You gonna chain down the porta potty too, so they don't tip that
We
over?
gotta figure out a way on how to do that. I think we can, right on the end of the fence. I would check with Lakes Region as a contract
Do we
with
need it for the
porta
bathroom?
potties, so.
I don't
No,
think
because
so.
we're gonna take the
No way to
porta
do
it.
potties
Yeah,
out
we
and
need
put
it
them
in the
over to
No way to do
the,
that. You
Skateboard
put
one over
them
to the
on
skateboard,
bottom
so-
skids,
you'd wanna maybe chain it down over there, I guess.
Right.
and you pour sonotubes with threaded rod.
Or you chain it right to the fence.
Yeah, we talked about that, chaining
Mm.
just about everything down that can be
Yeah.
done.
And the Lakes Region might be okay with maybe putting maybe 2 holes or clamps or like U-clamps on the screw, you can bolt them right into that
They might
thing.
already have them set
They
up.
might already have
for that.
something set up.
Or whichever service we use.
Right.
Well, if you have the bathhouse open, are we still doing?
I will,
Yeah,
no,
I'm not
I
sure
will,
what service.
I'm gonna
Are you
open
talking
the
about
bathhouse.
I don't know which
Okay.
service we use.
At night, I'm gonna try to lock the doors though and the gates there, so,
Right.
you know,
Close
if
it
the
up.
beach is closed, the
Everything's
bath, everything's
closed.
to be closed.
Right. We just don't have a porta potty there. That's what I was wondering. Do we still have a porta potty there if we have a
No porta potties.
porta
at
potty
the
at the
beach.
beach? Okay.
We will use one of those, give it a trial over at
Oh,
the
at the
skate
skate
park,
park.
and, you know, we'll see if the kids, are respectful. If they're not, then we'll put the sign up and close it again.
Well, I think with the participation from the police department, which they're willing to do, I think we're gonna be just fine,
And
personally.
the time needs to be when somebody's doing whatever wrong, middle of the night they're over there or they're tipping. That's when you need to call the police or the complainants do, not a month later.
Well, if we have a camera set up there, then they might do their own, turn
Yeah.
themselves in.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think Parks and Rec handled it good, and we'll take care of it with signage and.
Do we wanna send them a letter? Do we
I think-
respond with a
Well, I
letter?
was just gonna say they are asking
Yeah, I think
communication.
wait till we get our verbiage all set and put it together, and then we'll
I'll
respond.
have you guys look at
Oh.
it before.
Beautiful. Thanks for coming.
All right, thank you.
New business. Establishment of the Agricultural Commission.
Oh, yes, there are. These are
That must have been in your letter, maybe? I know I had all the
Yes,
names, someone
yes.
said it was in
It's
her
in the letter,
memo.
the
the,
memo.
oh, the memo, yeah. Yeah, there's all your meeting members.
Okay, we're looking to fill the new agricultural commission that was established through the last town meeting. The petitioner, the primary petitioner, I guess I'd call Robbie. He would be a member for 3 years, Michael Hickey, a member for 2 years, William Denley, a member for 1 year, Jeffrey Denley, an alternate for 3 years, and Richard Ellis, an alternate for 2.
You want a motion?
Please.
Motion to accept the above memberships.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Per the RSA, you have to, the board has to appoint somebody to be the chairperson to organize the first meeting.
Which would be Robbie.
I would go with the petitioner.
I make a motion for that.
We'll add that to Peter's motion.